It's hard to miss how different things are for Justin and Hailey Bieber this week. I saw something new about them everywhere I looked, and each new piece made the last one feel even worse. I'm not trying to make things worse, but I could tell that the mood around their marriage changed overnight. People were denying every rumor 1 minute. Then Justin starts saying things that no one thought he would. Then there's the video that everyone keeps watching, the interviews that raised more questions than they answered, and that one moment that made the internet freeze for hours. You don't need to guess what comes next in this sequence. The details alone are enough. So, today we're going to go over everything that has happened in order, starting with the first sign that things weren't as peaceful in the Bieber house as everyone thought. When Justin and Hailey finally said that their marriage isn't going well, it felt like everything changed. For years, every rumor about them having problems was quickly dismissed, either by their fans or by people who thought the tabloids were just making things up. But now, Justin and Hailey are the ones who are saying the words, and I could feel how different it sounded this time. Hailey saying that they're taking the marriage one step at a time might seem like a simple sentence, but it's not. This is the kind of thing you hear when a couple is trying to fix something that's already going wrong. And Justin's face lately hasn't helped either. Tired, far away, and distracted. You can almost feel the tension in the air when they are in public. A fan said, "This is the first time they're not acting like everything is fine." And to be honest, I get that reaction. When a couple who usually keeps things to themselves suddenly lets their guard down, it says a lot about how bad things might be. Admitting it is grown up, but it also shows that the rumors weren't lies, said another user. At first, I didn't want to agree, but it's hard to argue with them. When Justin and Hailey use words like hard, difficult, and day by day, it means that the stress in that house has gotten so bad that they can't deny it anymore. And this was just the start. Everything that happened after this made the admission feel even bigger. Things got even worse right after Justin and Hailey said their marriage was going through a rough patch. The internet caught something no one saw coming as soon as Justin got out of the car at Kris Jenner's birthday party: a weird white powder spot on his pants. And to be honest, the timing could not have been worse. Even a small moment can turn into a storm when a couple is already under a lot of stress. And this one blew up right away. The picture went viral in a matter of minutes. People zoomed in, circled the stain, and looked at it frame by frame. And I'll admit that I stopped for a second because the reaction online was nothing short of crazy. One fan said, "I don't want to jump to conclusions, but this looks bad." Very bad. That's why the moment went viral. Not because anyone had answers, but because no one did. At the same time, Justin's supporters rushed in just as quickly. Another person said, "This is literally baby powder from Jack's diaper." People are reaching, and to be honest, I can see why some people think that. Things like that happen when you're a parent. The stain wasn't the only problem, though. It was the energy around Justin lately. The tiredness in his face, the stress in his body language, and the sadness we saw in Chapter 1. This one picture didn't prove anything, but it did make a fire that was already burning even bigger. And the most surprising thing was still to come. The live stream where Justin finally told everyone what was really going on behind the scenes. If the white powder moment made you wonder, Justin's live stream answered them in a way that no one saw coming. He sat down at a round table with his friends and started talking. And then, out of nowhere, the conversation changed in a way that felt too real. For the first time, Justin said he was under a lot of financial stress and was afraid he wouldn't be able to pay his bills. He even said it made him feel like he wasn't close to his family. I remember sitting there and thinking, okay, this is the part that no one can deny anymore. He said that stress made him distance himself from the people he loved, that he tried to fill emotional holes with money and things, and that none of it worked. You could tell he was being honest because he sounded tired, heavy, and almost resigned. Someone said, "This doesn't sound like a famous person talking." It sounded like someone who has been caring too much for too long. And to be honest, I felt the same way. Another user said, "Now I understand why there are so many new products coming out all the time. They're trying to stay alive." And whether that's true or not, that's where most people's minds went. When someone openly admits to being afraid of money, every business decision looks different. What really got to me wasn't the confession itself. He said it so easily. There was no media training, no filters, and no rehearsed lines. just a man who felt overwhelmed by the responsibilities, stress, and expectations he couldn't escape. And as the tension in the Bieber home grew more and more obvious, what the internet saw next seemed almost shocking in comparison. I really thought the internet couldn't change moods any faster after seeing Justin do that, but then, out of nowhere, my whole feed changed direction. New wedding pictures of Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco began to come out, and in a matter of minutes, every timeline, fan page, and trending tag looked the same. It was as if the whole internet stopped to look. The pictures were more than just pretty. They felt warm, personal, and almost like a movie. Selena is standing in soft light. Benny looked at her as if she were the only person in the room. The note that her grandparents wrote by hand. The kind of detail that really gets to you. You could feel the emotion even through the screen. "I don't even know these people, but these pictures make me feel at peace," one fan wrote. And to be honest, that was the word that kept coming to mind for me too. Peace. Another person said, "This wedding looks like something money couldn't buy, just real happiness." And that reaction spread quickly because the pictures didn't look staged or like they were meant to be seen. It felt like you were walking through the day with them because they were so real and personal. Then there was the surprising detail. People who know say that the rehearsal dinner alone could have cost close to $1 million. But even with all that luxury, the place didn't feel too busy. It felt planned, calm, and very personal. And as more photos and clips came to light, the internet's reaction grew even stronger, setting the stage for conversations that no one saw coming. As the photos spread, more and more information came out, especially about the rehearsal dinner. And I'll be honest, when I first saw the setup, I thought the number that was going around online was too high, but people who worked there kept saying the same thing. Almost $1 million just for the dinner. But here's the part that will surprise you. Even though there was a lot of money, the place didn't feel loud or too much. It looked like a small, cozy space where everything was meant to make the day feel special instead of huge. There were close-up shots of the menu, tables with candles, custom drinks, handwritten notes, and other small touches that made people talk even more. One fan said, "Yes, it's expensive, but it doesn't seem flashy. It seems like they put a lot of thought into it." That was the same thing I thought when I was looking through the pictures. Not all luxury is warm, but here it did. "It's crazy how calm everything looks," another user said. "There's no stress, no performance, just a couple enjoying their moment." That comment stuck with me because it explained why the internet was so upset. It wasn't just the money or the pictures, it was the feelings behind them. And as more clips came out, like videos of Benny and Selena leaving events, getting into cars, and acting normally, people online started to make their own guesses. Not because anyone told them to, but because the differences between different celebrity couples were becoming too big for the internet to ignore. After going through everything we just did, it's clear that the stories we read online aren't just headlines. They're pictures of famous people who are still trying to keep their lives together in very different ways. Justin and Hailey are under a lot of stress. And to be honest, most people would have a hard time with it, even if no one was watching. The interviews, the live stream, and the footage show that they are trying to deal with something bigger than they thought they would have to when they first got married. The internet, on the other hand, reacts to every picture, detail, and video clip with a level of intensity that can either help or make things worse. And seeing how people reacted this week really made me think about how quickly we jump to conclusions based on how things look at the time. I'm not here to pick sides or tell anyone what to do, but I am here to look at what's going on and try to figure out why people act the way they do. So I have a question for you, and I really want you to think about it before you answer. If you were Justin and had to deal with money problems, emotional stress, and a marriage that was being judged in public, which moment this week do you think would have been the hardest for you? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to know how you see these times when you take away all the noise and just look at the human side of it.